Over the history of liberalism, the form which it has taken has changed, but the objective has never changed. There have been disagreements about the correct strategy or tactics that should be deployed, even over morality. Over time, it has changed from what we now call classical liberalism into a more fractured liberalism. But that more fractured nature has meant that each side has concentrated its power upon a much smaller area. Before 1900, liberalism had many enemies to fight, and once it defeated one, another grew to replace it. For example, it believed in personal morality, not in public morality, so it fought the Christian churches over the idea, and it won. But unions and socialism rose up to challenge it. In the 20th century, it was challenged by fascism and communism, but the great crises of that century, the two world wars, the Depression, and the long Cold War, gave it great strength and confidence. It also consolidated its power within government all over the Western world, and at the end of the Cold War was unchallenged. It had beaten every contender for power. Liberalism controlled everything. But its greatest victory had been over liberalism itself, because each faction of liberalism had become the ally of every other faction. That had never happened before. Before, they had been bitter enemies, jealous of each other's success. So what changed? The death of classical liberalism is what changed. In the 1950s, the internal contradictions that had built up within classical liberalism finally split the movement apart. Right liberals rejected socialism and became obsessed with free market economics. Left liberalism rejected all economics and absorbed the communist idea of class warfare, which became identity politics. And in the background was feminism, nearly as old as classical liberalism and now embraced by both left and right liberalism. All three major factions had stepped out of each other's way, and all other major opposition had been defeated. Instead of fighting each other, they were now mutually supporting, each looking after its own area of interest and not interfering in the others. Right liberalism started by rejecting socialism, by finding the free market principles that had once defined classical liberalism. But it also rejected everything outside of economics. That made it the darling of big business, and that changed how right liberalism looked at things. In theory, they wanted a free market, laissez-faire economic system, but big business doesn't want a dog-eat-dog world of real competition. It wants to eat, not to be eaten. It had a very cosy relationship with government, and they wanted that reinforced, and over time, right liberalism came to agree. So in public, it talks about its love of the free market, but in private, it supports what we have come to call crony capitalism. You would think that left liberals would be hard against this idea and that they would attack and destroy such a system, but they have their own hypocrisy. In public, they talk about how much they hate capitalism, but behind the scenes, it's a different matter. They love crony capitalism, and the reason they love it is because it's a form of socialism, which ironically is why big business loves it, because it means the government is their protector. Big business protects the government, and in return, the government protects big business. Here we have a system whereby both sides of liberalism support big business, and in return, big business supports liberalism. Big business follows a right liberal economic policy and a left liberal social policy. That is why all the big capitalistic companies love homosexual marriage, refugees, and the like. It also means that policies that the left should hate, like mass immigration, they now love. The old West left was 100% against mass immigration, but the new left love it. So why does right liberalism? Because for the right, it supports their free trade, free market ideals. For the left, it's all about identity politics. For big business, it's all about driving down wages in high-wage countries, all mutually supporting and all trying to get out of each other's way. So you will see far-left groups like Antifa and the like supporting immigration and by default supporting big business, while at the same time blaming them for everything. There's a wide gulf between theory and reality. And that is why things are becoming so insane. liberalism's only remaining enemy is reality.